Your mother tongue will always influence your brain. It's the foundation for every language you learn. But with awareness, practice, and consistency, you can overcome it. I'm a language teacher, but for a couple of months, I couldn't speak any languages at all.
Phonological interference, grammatical interference, lexical interference. You need to know this if you're a language learner.
Hi everyone, my name is Zu. I'm a native Burmese from Myanmar, also known as Burma. I've been teaching Burmese for 5 years to students from over 20 countries. But last year I went through something that completely changed me. A mental and emotional breakdown that took away my ability to speak. So, welcome back to my channel. In this video, I'm going to explain about temporary language interference and share language tips, plus how I overcame it myself. So this is a true story about me from last year. I couldn't speak any languages properly for a couple of months. Even in my own language, I began to stutter a lot. And when I spoke English, my sentences were broken, my pronunciation was unclear, and I couldn't even finish my own thoughts. So, for example, I couldn't finish the whole sentence. Like in the middle of the sentence, my brain paused, nothing left, like empty. So it was kind of like, for someone who has lived through language, it was terrifying. And I felt disconnected from my students, from my work, and even from myself. How I overcame it was an instant. I started taking counseling sessions, practicing yoga, painting, and spending more time in nature. Then slowly my words began to return. But I would say, retelling the story might sound simple now, but living through was it was scary, it was painful, and it took time. I'm not sure who need to hear this, but I would say it has come back just like mine did. And I was curious about, what I was going through. And I found out temporary language interference. It is a momentary disruption in language use caused by emotional or psychological stress. Basically, your mind is overwhelmed. It can, temporarily block access to the languages you know. Well, there are 3 common types of language interference that bilingual and learners experience. The first one is phonological interference. One sounds or pronunciation from one language influence another. For example, for me as a Burmese speaker, I struggle a lot when I study French, to pronounce R sound. The sound that you make between your tongue and throat, or something like that. You know what I mean? And also, I have a lot of French students, and I learned that they struggle when they pronounce nasal sound, like nga, like they don't have that sound in their language. So nga, 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 something like that. Also, for some Westerner who've never learned South Asian languages, they might struggle when they study Japanese, Korean, and Thai. But for some people, they are very good at mimicking and adapting sounds in different languages. So I would say it depends on individual skills and talent. And the second one is grammatical interference, when your native language structure affects when you form sentences in another language. For example, I would say in Asia, there's so many languages which are similar in sentence structure. For example, Japanese, Korean, and Burmese, they are quite similar. But I would say it's different from English and French. Even in French and English is a bit different. For example, in English we say French restaurant, but in French we say les restaurants français. And une voiture bleue, like a blue car. It's in English, it works the other way around, something like that. So it is grammatical interference that you might encounter when you learn a language. Okay, the last one is lexical interference, when words from one language slip into another, especially when you can't find the right term. For example, my students, when they are speaking two languages at the same time, maybe three, like Thai, German, French, and they are also doing Burmese at the same time. So like during the class, they sometimes slip Thai words when we are doing Burmese, something like that. And also when I was younger, I was doing two languages at the same time. I was trying to improve my English, and also at the same time, I was doing Japanese. So like when I went to the Japanese class, sometimes like vocabulary in my mind came up in English, something like that. So it's pretty normal, I would say. So these kind of interferences can happen consciously or unconsciously and often disappear when your language skills grow stronger. In some cases, it can even turn into code switching where speakers, naturally mix languages to express themselves more comfortably. From my experience, I would say this can also happen when you are under emotional hardship or simply as a normal part of being a language learner.
So remember, learning a language isn't just about apps or vocabulary lists, it's about understanding how it works, real communication, real connection, and real experiences. So be patient with yourself, give your brain time to adjust and absorb. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.